Welcome back to the Crypto World channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, Bitcoin is still playing out this bullish divergence as a multi-billion-dollar liquidation could be coming very soon for Bitcoin, while the price is still running into this critical area of resistance, while Ethereum is now flashing a massive bullish reversal signal that we need to pay attention to. So I'll be talking about all of that and more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, taking a look at the 4-day Bitcoin chart, and right now the price of Bitcoin is technically still within the bull market or the larger bullish trend as shown by the super trend indicator here on the 4-day Bitcoin chart. Because ever since the bull market began back at the beginning of 2023, this super trend indicator on the 4-day Bitcoin chart has remained green this entire time, just like how in the previous bear market, basically during all of 2022, starting at the end of 2021, the super trend indicator remained in the red, revealing the bear market. And in order to confirm a bearish trend reversal on this chart right here on the super trend indicator, basically flipping from green back to red, we would need to see a confirmed break with a confirmed candle close on the 4-day time frame below around 55.8k, and at least as of right now, that has not happened. And so as I've mentioned recently here on the channel, we can see candle wicks to the downside, the price temporarily dropping below that level for as long as we see the candle closes back above that level. And we did see a couple of other times where we saw that happen during this very bull market. For example, back in around August last year and also back in March 2023. And back then, there were a lot of people here on the channel in the comment section commenting the bull market's over, it's about to crash, everything's going down. And that was the moment where the price actually bottomed and recovered from there. So just keep that in mind. We have not confirmed any larger bearish reversal on the larger time frame. So talking about the bull markets and the bear markets here, we have not confirmed any bear market as of right now. So at least for now, we're technically still within the larger bullish market. But as always, it is important to understand the difference between the different time frames. So even though we're still within the bull market, as I've been saying basically every day since the beginning of 2023, we can see short-term bearish trends or pullbacks along the way during the larger bullish trend or bull market. Just like how in the 2022 bear market, we saw multiple short-term bullish trends or short-term pumps back to the upside during the bear market. And so that is why we need to wait for confirmation to be actually confident that the trend is really reversing here on the larger timeframes, which at least as of right now, we have not seen any bearish confirmation signal on this chart right here. And if we're taking a look at the 3-day Bitcoin chart, we are now starting to see the 3-day Bitcoin RSI actually recover back into the top half of the indicator. Right now, it's sitting roughly at around 50, so right in the middle of the RSI indicator. And obviously, over the last couple of weeks here, we saw the 3-day Bitcoin RSI drop well below 50 into the lower half of the indicator. And usually, at least based on what we've seen throughout this bull market over the last 1 to 2 years, usually when the 3-day Bitcoin RSI is in the lower half of the indicator, below 50, those are usually some pretty decent buying opportunities, especially for the longer term. And so as I've been saying almost every day over the last couple of weeks here on the channel, I've been saying that personally I am accumulating Bitcoin. This is the area where I'm currently buying more Bitcoin, as I've been saying basically every day over the last 1 to 2 weeks. And so far the price is bouncing from this area. And obviously that Bitcoin that I bought at lower prices, it's continuing to grow in profits. But as always, nothing that I say is personal financial advice because I don't know your personal financial situation. I'm just letting you know what I'm currently doing based on these charts right here. And if we're taking a look at this daily Bitcoin chart, right now the DXY is still looking very bearish in terms of the short-term trend here. And as I've been saying over and over again here on the channel just recently, when the DXY is bearish, that is almost always bullish for the price of Bitcoin, as we can see time and time again when the DXY is trending in the bearish direction. And now there are sometimes, maybe 5% of the time, where these two are moving in the same direction. For example, the price of Bitcoin and the DXY could be both bullish at the same time or both bearish at the same time. But those are generally some pretty rare occurrences, probably around 5% of the time. And this recent case right here, where we saw that short-term dump a little over a week ago at the same time as a dump here in the DXY, that was also due to the fact that the German government at that time was dumping billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin on the market, which of course will be bearish for the price of Bitcoin, as we saw a little over a week ago. But as I said a few days ago, nearly half a week ago now, the German government already sold all their Bitcoin. They are out of Bitcoin. So we've essentially removed a major seller out of the market. And now things are finally starting to look bullish again now that the German government can no longer sell any more Bitcoin because they're out of Bitcoin. Meanwhile, we still have this massive bullish signal flashing on the chart, which is now starting to finally play out as expected. And at the same time as this massive bullish signal flashing on the daily Bitcoin chart, we also have this bullish divergence still playing out here on the daily Bitcoin chart, as I've been talking about basically every day over the last 1 to 2 weeks. And so once again, a bullish divergence, especially on the daily time frame, means we're most likely going to see a bullish relief here in the short term, or at least some choppy sideways price action. So basically just expect a relief or a break from the bearish trend. So no more bearish price action in the short term is what a bullish divergence really means as the most likely scenario. But a bullish divergence by itself is not necessarily enough to confirm a bullish trend reversal here on the daily time frame in terms of the short-term bullish and bearish trends. And so in order to really confirm a new bullish trend here in the price of Bitcoin here in the short term, we need to see other signals confirm, like for example, a major pullback in the DXY, which has confirmed, as I've said recently here on the channel, this is a bullish reversal signal for Bitcoin. This is very bullish. And another signal that I've been saying we need to watch out for would be a breakout above key resistance. Once we start breaking out above resistance, those are also bullish reversal signals. And we have now seen a breakout above this first area of resistance right here. This is the first time since over a month ago where the price has finally broken back out above a previous area of resistance. And so this is clearly a reversal signal pointing in the bullish direction. Because when it comes to resistance, we did have this area right here, which was previous support, sitting in between around $60,000 to $61,000, which the price has now broken out above. But with that being said, we're now running into this critical area of resistance right here, which was previous resistance in the price of Bitcoin, sitting in between around 63,000 to 64,000. And we also have a lot of resistance in between 67 to 68,000 and 72 to 74,000. And so these are the areas on the chart where the price is most likely going to struggle at. And if we actually see some sort of rejection from this area of resistance right here in between 63 to 64,000, we could potentially form an inverse head and shoulders pattern, as I talked about over the last couple of days. Because as I mentioned here on the channel, when the price was back down here, I said we could potentially be forming an inverse head and shoulders pattern because we already have a possible left shoulder, and right now we're potentially forming the head. So all we need to see now is some sort of short-term rejection from this resistance, and then a bounce from this previous resistance, which could now be acting as new support again, sitting in between 60 to 61,000. And so if we see a move play out something like that, for example, then that would be extremely bullish for the price of Bitcoin if we can confirm this inverse head and shoulders pattern and a confirmed breakout back above around 64,000. Because in that case, if we see a breakout above 64K after first forming that right shoulder, that will set up a bullish price target for that inverse head and shoulders pattern, basically at the all-time high at around 73,500 to 74,000. So once again, if we see some sort of right shoulder form here in the coming week by a short-term rejection and then a bounce and then a breakout back above 64,000 in the following weeks after that, if we see that first play out right here and confirm in the following weeks, expect to move back up towards the all-time highs. But even if we don't see a right shoulder form here, even if we don't see a rejection from this resistance and we just break out straight away, of course, any time where we break out above resistance, that is also a bullish signal. It's just if we break out straight away on the first attempt here, we won't necessarily have that technical price target for the inverse head and shoulders pattern because we wouldn't have an inverse head and shoulders pattern. And so in that case, if we just see a breakout right here above this resistance on the first attempt without seeing any short-term rejection, then in that case, expect to move up towards the next area of resistance as the next short-term price target in between around 67 to 68,000. But either way, things are already starting to look much more bullish again here in the short term. Already over the last couple of days, things were already starting to look bullish with the bullish divergence and the major drops to the downside here in the DXY within the last 1 week or so. But especially over the last 1 day, now that we've started to see a breakout above key resistance for the first time in over a month, this is a very bullish signal for Bitcoin that we need to pay attention to. And if we're zooming into the short term, looking at the 4-hour Bitcoin chart, obviously over the last one day, the moment we broke out back above that golden pocket right here in between around $59,500 to $60,000, and especially due to the fact that the price held that area as new support and bounced from that area, that was an extremely bullish signal here in the short term, because the golden pocket is the most significant Fibonacci area on the chart. And so now that we've broken out above that area, once again, the next resistance is basically this area that we're running into right now. And so just to be clear, that is what I'm expecting right now in the short term. Over the next couple of days, in the imminent short term, I expect a little bit of a struggle around this area, but ultimately the trend and momentum is already starting to flip much more bullish again here in the short term. But if we're zooming out to that 4-day time frame, the bullish trend has remained bullish since the beginning of 2023. This entire time, we've been within a larger bullish trend on the larger time frames. Once again, know the difference between the different time frames. On the larger time frames, we've been bullish the entire time, but on the smaller time frames, we flip between bullish and bearish much more often. And if you want to trade these moves in the price of Bitcoin or any other crypto, personally, I take just about all of my trades over on Bybit. So I'll make sure to leave a link to Bybit down below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link down below this video to make a Bybit account and deposit on that account, then you can get up to a $30,000 deposit bonus, but only if you use that link down below this video. And also, if you use that link, it'll take you to this page right here, which is a massive lucky draw happening right now over on Bybit, only for the next 5 days or so, by the way. And so just by trading crypto using that link, you get these chances right here into this lucky draw where you could potentially win some free Bitcoin or Ethereum or USDT or a trip to an F1 race or up to $100,000 just by trading crypto using the link down below this video. And so especially if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, you might as well check this out. Once again, first link below this video. But for whatever reason, if you cannot access Bybit or if you cannot KYC on Bybit, there is also Bitflex, which is another crypto exchange similar to Bybit, but you don't need KYC for Bitflex. And so I'll also make sure to leave a link to Bitflex down below this video as an alternative crypto exchange. And with that being said, if we're taking a quick look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, zoomed out a little bit, we can see obviously just in the short term, we took out a lot of liquidity at roughly around $60,000, give or take. And right now we have a massive region of liquidity to the upside, sitting in between around 64,000 to 65,000 approximately. And so basically, once the price of Bitcoin can break out above this resistance right here in between 63 to 64,000, that is basically the last obstacle between the current price and this massive area of liquidity. And by the way, we're talking about billions of dollars worth of short positions that will get wiped out of the market if the price of Bitcoin can cross above around 65,000 to wipe out all of those positions. And so right now we are potentially in the middle of a major short squeeze, especially if the price can soon break out above this resistance, so above around 64,000, to start triggering a lot of those liquidations in between 64 to 65,000. Once again, that liquidates a lot of short positions, which pushes the price further to the upside, liquidating more short positions, pushing the price further to the upside in a short squeeze. But once again, we must remember that at least for now, we're still running into this resistance. So it is still possible, potentially over the next day or two, that the price could still struggle around this area. So just keep that in mind. But once we start seeing a breakout above 64K, then we could potentially see some fireworks here in the price of Bitcoin. And with that being said, if we're taking a look at Ethereum on the daily time frame right now, a massive bullish reversal signal is flashing on the ETH USD chart on the 1-day time frame, because this pattern right here is known as a bump and run reversal pattern with the lead-in phase, the bump phase, and the run phase. So this is a bullish reversal pattern, and this officially confirms once we see this daily candle close confirm above this line of resistance, which, by the way, this line of resistance is sitting at roughly around 3270, so just below 3.3K. And so at least for now, this bullish reversal signal is flashing on the chart, but it is not yet confirmed. But it will confirm if this daily candle close right here confirms above around 3.3K, which at least as of recording this video, it is looking likely that that will happen. And the technical price target for a bump and run reversal pattern is the beginning of the lead-in phase, which is basically this local high right here as the technical price target once we confirm this breakout with that candle close. And this high, by the way, is sitting at around 3.9k approximately. And of course, this bullish move right here is continuing from the bounce from this significant area of support sitting in between 2.8k to 2.9k. And so as I said on the channel, all the way back down here, we have a massive amount of buyers, major support right here in between 2.8 to 2.9k. And not only was the price bouncing from key support, we were also bouncing from oversold territories here on the daily RSI. Because if we're zooming out on the daily time frame, the last few times, which was over 300 days ago, the last few times that we saw an oversold signal confirm here in the daily Ethereum RSI, we either saw a bounce back to the upside in the short term, or at the very least, a sideways consolidation. So basically no more bearish price action, at least in the short term for the next couple of weeks or so. And so we're simply playing that out as expected. But this signal by itself is not enough to confirm a bullish trend reversal. As we saw back here, we eventually continued that bearish trend later on. So we also need to see other signals confirm, like for example, this breakout that we're potentially seeing right now, but we're still waiting for that daily candle close to actually confirm. And if we're zooming into the shorter term, looking at that 8-hour time frame, we've just seen a clean breakout above the 38.2% Fibonacci level of resistance, which was previous support, and that's sitting at around 32.50. And as of recording this video, the price of ETH is running into this resistance right here in the short term at around 33.70 to 33.80, so just below 3.4k acting as resistance. And we also have this area of resistance as the golden pocket sitting in between around 35.20 to 35.70. And so at least in the short term, those are the levels of resistance to pay attention to. And with that being said, if we're taking a look at Solana on the 12-hour time frame, we have also seen a clean breakout over the last couple of days for the price of Solana above around 144, as I actually mentioned in my last video. And obviously, since my last video, we've seen a further continuation to the upside up towards this next resistance, closer towards around 154, basically this previous high right here. And above that, the next resistance is sitting at around 160. Based on previous support and resistance. And we also potentially have a massive double bottom pattern here, also known as a W pattern. And this will technically confirm once we see a confirmed breakout on the 12-hour chart, but ideally on the daily chart, a confirmed breakout back above this high right here. So once again, at around 154. And in that case, if we're measuring out the technical price target for a potential double bottom pattern or W pattern, that will give us a price target at around 187. So basically the top side of this area of resistance. And so if we're measuring out that move from the point of the breakout to that price target, that's potentially around a 21% move to the upside that could be coming if we can confirm this breakout right here. But once again, we also need to pay attention to other areas of resistance between now and then, where the price could still likely struggle at. Once again, at around 160, expect resistance around that level. We also have some resistance in between around 170 to 175, and more resistance in between 183 to 187. And as for support, in case we see some sort of rejection here or at 160, we still have this area right here, which was previous resistance and should now be acting as new support in between 140 to 144. And in a more bearish scenario, I don't exactly expect this now, but let's just say if we drop back below around 140, in that case, we have this significant area of support in between around 120 to 128. And as for the short-term trend and momentum, as I've been saying for a while now on the channel, we're actually looking relatively neutral, which has been playing out as expected, because if we're looking at the overall trend of the price action, we've basically just gone sideways over the last few weeks with a lot of volatility in between, also known as choppy sideways price action, as I like to call it. But we can officially start calling it a bullish trend if we can break out above the range highs, the range of the sideways price range right here, which is sitting at around 154. That's the range high right here. And ideally seeing a breakout back above 160. Once we break out above those levels, then we can start calling this an actual bullish trend in the short term here. And once again, if you want to trade these moves in the price of any crypto, check out those links down below this video to claim those extra bonuses. And if you want to actually know how to trade crypto, no matter if the price is bullish, bearish, or chopping around sideways, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or short positions. And the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.